In 2 Peter 3 verses 15 through 17, Peter warns that Paul's letters contain content that is hard to understand and which the ignorant and unstable misinterpret. He then connects the mishandling of Paul's letters to lawless people. In this video, I will argue that 2 Peter 3 verses 15 through 17 represents Peter's warning regarding antinomians, that is, individuals who reject God's law. These antinomians misinterpret passages in Paul's letters to advocate for lawlessness. Who is misinterpreting Paul's letters? Peter writes that there are things in Paul's letters that are hard to understand. In Greek, the word translated as hard to understand is dysnaitos, a term applied to texts that are difficult to interpret. However, as Douglas Moo remarks, Peter's point is, quote, not so much that what Paul wrote was obscure. Rather, in context, his point is that Paul's letters are susceptible to misinterpretation when approached by ignorant and unstable people. Richard Bauckham suggests that these descriptions carry a sense of condemnation. Quote, these people are ignorant because they are unwilling to learn, and unstable because they allow themselves to be misled. When Peter cautions against ignorant and unstable people who twist Paul's letters and the other scriptures, he specifically has in mind the false teachers he has been condemning throughout his epistle. According to Moo, quote, what Peter suggests then is that these false teachers are twisting Paul's own writings as support for their heresies. What heresy were these false teachers promoting? Their first heresy was their rejection of the doctrine that the Messiah would return and bring judgment. Their second heresy was antinomianism. These two heresies were actually connected. The false teachers promised quote-unquote freedom from the consequences of their lawlessness because they claimed that the Messiah's return was just a cleverly devised myth. Hence, according to the false teachers' logic, since there is no future judgment, why not abandon all moral boundaries and indulge the desires of the flesh? How did the false teachers misinterpret Paul's letters? The false teachers were twisting Paul's words in order to justify their doctrine, but which specific heresy were they misusing Paul's letters to support? It's difficult to imagine how they could have appealed to Paul's letters to bolster their denial of the Messiah's return. Instead, according to Richard Bauckham, quote, a more obvious misuse of Paul involves passages that, quote, could be held to support antinomianism. Douglas Moo and Thomas Schreiner agree that this misuse of Paul's letters was likely what Peter had in mind. The false teachers seem to have misrepresented Paul's teachings on the law and referenced passages from his letters in a manner that Paul did not intend. Namely, they appealed to Paul's letters to justify their lawless doctrine, thereby distorting Paul's teachings regarding the law. Paul himself countered this slanderous misrepresentation of his teachings. The following three reasons support the conclusion that Peter directed his rebuke toward those who misused Paul's letters to justify their antinomian doctrine. First, Peter directly connects the error of mishandling Paul's letters to lawless people. Quote, take care that you are not carried away with the error of lawless people and lose your own stability. These lawless people, again, are the false teachers that Peter confronts throughout his epistle. Earlier, Peter used the term lawless people to describe the wicked sodomites. Similarly, Peter condemned the false teachers for their sexual immorality, blasphemy, greed, lying, and their rejection of the way of righteousness and holy commandment. According to Michael Chaw, quote, the translation lawless reflects the term's habitual usage and connection to the biblical commandments of God. Indeed, Philo uses the same term to describe the quote-unquote lawbreakers who transgress the law of Moses, consequently falling under the punishments stipulated in Leviticus 26 and Deuteronomy 28. Thus, misinterpreting Paul's letters is the error of a lawless people. It is the error of those who reject the law. Second, a few verses earlier, Peter urges his readers to lead lives characterized by, quote, holiness and godliness, and to strive to be found by God, quote, without spot or blemish. These traits reflect, quote, a way of life that is measured by the standard of the law of God. In his first epistle, Peter explicitly cites the law of Moses as the foundation for his exhortation to pursue holiness. According to Peter, this call to holiness was one of the matters that Paul also discussed in his own letters. As Schreiner writes, quote, "Verse 16 continues the discussion of Paul's letters with the remark that Paul spoke of these matters, that is, of the importance of holiness and the patience of the Lord." Directly following Peter's statement that Paul discussed matters related to holiness, he claims that lawless people twist Paul's words in a different direction. Third, Peter's reference to the other scriptures indicates that he considers the law and prophets to be valid and authoritative, and that Paul's letters are consistent with these scriptures. The word translated as scripture is used 50 times in the New Testament, and it, quote, always refers to the authoritative writings that we call the Old Testament. From Peter's perspective, Paul's teaching aligns with that of the law and prophets, all falling under the category of scripture. In other words, Paul's letters do not disagree with the law and prophets. The false teachers twisted both Paul's letters and the other scriptures toward the same antinomian ends. Given these considerations, Peter's warning against being carried away with the error of lawless people serves as a strong admonition not to interpret Paul as teaching antinomianism. According to Peter, such an interpretation distorts Paul's words and ultimately leads to destruction. Conclusion. In 2 Peter 3:15-17, Peter issues a stern warning about people who misinterpret Paul's letters, cautioning his readers not to be misled by the error of lawless people. This error involves twisting passages from Paul's letters to support antinomian doctrine. Peter's exhortation to lead lives characterized by holiness and godliness, along with his affirmation of the authority of the law and prophets, highlights the importance of interpreting Paul's letters in harmony with the law rather than in alignment with the antinomian doctrine of the false teachers who advocated freedom from the law. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to see more content like this, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Also, don't forget to hit that little bell so that you'll be notified when new videos like this are released. One last thing, be sure to connect with me on my website, davidwilber.com. There, you can find a ton of free resources like articles and videos, learn more about the books that I've written, and subscribe to my newsletter to ensure you never miss an update. Again, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.